It's time for chapter 3 of The World's Worst Teachers, and chapter 3 is Miss Spick's Trike of Terror. King Flamingo is wearing some glasses as part of his theme because Miss Spick wears glasses, but they're a bit big for him. Miss Spick's Trike of Terror. In a world of horrible teachers, one in particular stands out for her wickedness. Step forward, or rather, roll forward, Miss Spick. The lady may have been elderly, but she had lost none of her power to instil fear into the hearts of all the pupils at Spottington School. Miss Spick's eyes were as black as coal. Her skin was as white as snow. Her tongue was long and thin like a snake's. When she spoke, her S's would be sinister. The librarian always rode her three-wheeler mobility scooter along the aisles of books as fast as it would go. Ah! Help! Owie! Kids had to leap out of the way to avoid being run over. Being run over by a mobility scooter is not as much fun as it sounds, and it doesn't sound like much fun. There she is. Despite the wounded children strewn across the floor, the librarian kept her library impossibly neat and tidy. All the books' spines sat on the shelf in perfectly straight lines in strict alphabetical order. There was never a speck of dust or a spot of dirt to be seen anywhere in the Spottington School library. Miss Spick enforced a strict policy of no browsing. Signs reminded you of this at every step. In fact, there might have been more signs than there were books. Books were to be taken out or left well alone. When they were returned, the librarian would pull her magnifying glass out of her drawer and thoroughly inspect them for any damage. Without fail, Spick always found some. When she did, you had to pay. There's a fold line on the top of page 137. Fine. There's discoloration on the back cover caused by exposure to sunlight. Fine. There's a greasy smudge from a thumb or a particularly stubby finger on the inside front flap. Fine. Spick determined the fines herself. They would vary wildly. The librarian would stare down at your shoes and determine from the state of them what she thought you could afford. Scuffed, 10 pence. Highly polished, £10. The money would then be snatched off you and stuffed in Spick's special tin. The tin was huge, more like a treasure chest, and was full to bursting with cash. Every child at Spottington School had fallen foul of Spick's greed, except two, the Tang twins. Tom and Tim Tang were child geniuses. The twins always received 100% in all their tests. The bullies called them nerds. No matter, these nerds were sure to invent some sort of supercomputer, become billionaires and take over the world. The Tangs had been dabbling with all kinds of inventions already, even though none had quite caught on yet. They had created internet for cats, flying sheds, invisible hairdryers, self-boiling eggs, exploding cricket balls, night vision goggles for bats, electric flip-flops that walk themselves, nuclear-powered umbrellas, inflatable socks, and hair-free dogs. The Tang twins worked 10 times harder than anyone else at school. They were so studious that they had never been told off in their lives. So it will come as no surprise to you to learn that whenever they returned a book to the school library, it was absolutely spotless. Needless to say, this turned Spick incandescent with rage, as it made it impossible for her to find them. Nevertheless, she had amassed a fortune from all the other kids. But what did an elderly school librarian need all this money for? To soup up her mobility scooter. Of course, keep up. The kids gave the beast of a machine a nickname, the Trike of Terror. It was terrifying with all its modifications. Blindingly bright headlights, a snakeskin seat, parachute at back for instant stopping in an emergency, revolving number plate in case going 100 miles an hour she whizzed past a speed camera, racing tyres, go faster stripes, booster battery, black respray, bull bar, cage at front big enough in which to fit a small child, and blindingly bright headlights. There it is. To pay for all these modifications, Miss Spick began imposing on-the-spot fines in the library for all kinds of spurious reasons. Returning a book 1 second late, 10p. Whispering too loudly, 20p. Sneezing on a book, 75p. Looking as if you were about to sneeze on a book, 65p. Dropping a book, £20. Having an untucked shirt, 55p. Leaning on a bookcase, 25p. Yawning, 5p. Pulling a book off the shelf by hooking your finger over the top rather than pinching the spine with 2 fingers, £8.50. Sharpening your pencil and thereby disturbing the piece, 95p. Sucking on a mint, 35p. Bringing a can of fizzy drink into the library, strictly forbidden, £1.25. Having a head shaped like an egg, 15p. Using a too scratchy pen, 30p. Dropping a crumb on the carpet, 1p. Smiling without prior written permission, 40p. Smelling of cheese, 80p. Tapping the desk, 85p. Breathing more than your fair share of air, 90p. Picking your nose, 50p. Picking your nose and eating it, £1. Picking, licking, rolling and flicking, £2.50. Breaking wind, £100. Soon it was impossible to even set foot in the library without Spick extorting money from you. So the kids simply stopped going, which was a real shame as they loved reading books. Especially my ones. I've never read any of them myself, but I'm told that they're brilliant. That's a little note from the author. After she'd sat alone in her big empty library for a whole term without one single visitor, Spick thumped the desk in frustration. Of course, she had to fine herself for doing that. She took 85p out of her special fines tin before immediately putting it back in. Clink! Then Miss Spick had a thought. Ding! If the children would not come to her, she would have to go to them. So she leaped astride her trike of terror and rode it through the double doors of the library. Bang! Bang! And out into the school. There she goes. As Miss Spick trundled into the playground, a gust of wind picked up a crisp packet. Crinkle, and it flew into her face. Wonderful! She exclaimed. That was because it had given Miss Spick an idea. Ding! On-the-spot fines for littering. You, child, that chocolate bar wrapper you so carelessly tossed over your shoulder will cost you dearly, she hissed moments later. But Miss Spick, that isn't my chocolate wrapper, the girl protested. Oh, yes, it is. No, it isn't, I promise. I'm allergic to chocolate, and I've never, ever eaten it. In the time you have been talking, the fine has gone up from 60p to 70p. The kids had no choice but to cough up the cash. If they didn't, Spick would pursue them around the playground, sitting astride the trike of terror. Brum! Help! No! Ah! The souped-up mobility scooter had just been fitted with stereo speakers. Now Miss Spick could listen to Beethoven's bombastic Fifth Symphony, her favourite piece of music, on a loop as she terrorised them. Di-di-di-dum! All the kids at Spottington School were running out of pocket money and fast. Every last penny was going straight to Miss Spick, and they had nothing left to spend on the things that truly mattered in life, like football cards, hair scrunchies, ice cream, bubble gum, rude comics, whoopee cushions, stickers, smelly rubbers, and gonks. All these items and more I have been told to tell you can be found in Raj's newsagents, many on offer, many more on special offer, and even more on special offer. Someone at the school had to do something to stop Miss Spick. The only kids at Spottington School who were not terrified of her were the Tang twins. It was time for the revenge of the nerds. We'll leave it there. All right. Thank you for listening, and next time we'll find out what the revenge of the nerds is. Bye.